If you're not a cop, just skip this video. Hey, what's up, police? I'm glad we've made it this far. If I'm driving my motorcycle, I'm not stopping for police lights. I'm driving. And y'all cannot stop me. The legality of it is that you cannot pull over a motorcycle driver that is going over 22 miles an hour above the speed limit. See, y'all didn't think I knew my rights, but yeah, I do. Y'all cannot stop a motorcycle driver. So I'm gonna keep on driving into the truckin' sunset. By the way, I did not cuss. I said mother trucking. Try stopping me, twin. I do not give a crap. I'd like to see you try. TBTL!
Are you on the computer? Yes, I am, but I'm having trouble with my computer. I had a computer for 10 years and enjoyed it, but it died.
Hi, guys. Do you ever do anything that you really regret? Well, I did. So please ignore everything that just happened with that last voicemail. And I'm sorry about everything, and I regret all things. Okay, thanks. Bye.
I was just trying to find E.T.
Hey, E.T. Classic Spielberg.
Oh,
Weaver of Dreams.
I love when his finger lights up.
That's how you can tell he's an alien.
And his face.
And his face.
One thing I can promise you is that the sun will come up tomorrow, and we'll be attacking it with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Monday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
Here we go again.
My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host.
What a fun, sexy time for you.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hills studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
Bring it back home, baby. Bring it back home.
Nice to be back from Las Vegas for an absolutely gorgeous Monday, July the 27th.
Oh, Ma, Pa, it's just beautiful.
Blue skies, white fluffy clouds. It's not crazy hot, but it's also it's a comfortable temperature here. It's in fact the perfect temperature to bring you episode 4779 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
Glad the weather is so perfect today because I am dealing with the fallout from making my brief debut on last week tonight with John Oliver last night, where I was honestly I was kind of roasted.
Boom. Roasted.
And I'm dealing with it fine. I'm not feeling defensive. I'm not feeling like I need to send a strongly worded email explaining what I was doing during the clip in which I'm being roasted.
I'm starting to feel like a corn dog at a hot dog party, and it ain't flattering, I'll tell you that.
Hey, speaking of television...
television is no friend of mine.
If today goes as planned, this might also be the debut of TBTL TV.
Well... Let the great experiment begin!
We are going to be recording the visual elements of this program today, and many of you will be seeing it, if you care to, on YouTube and places like that. Now you don't just have to get bored by hearing us, you can be bored by seeing us as well, which is a cool little perk that we have added this year to some folks who helped us out through the TBTL-a-thon. So welcome to all of you, if that is in fact what's happening right now. We could have a meltdown, which means we're not putting the video of this out, in which case, bullet dodged for all of you. This guy is the long-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships in preparation for this possibly being the first TBTL TV broadcast. He has been getting in incredible shape. He's been chest maxing and glute maxing.
Really? I'm trying to build my beef castle.
He is Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. I was popcorn maxing at the movies on Saturday.
Oh, you saw The Odyssey.
I did, and I enjoyed it, and we can talk about that. I assume that you'll see it maybe in theaters. I would recommend seeing it in theaters. You're not like this as much as I am, but like that's the type of movie where if I don't catch it in theaters, I'm never catching it. Like I'm not sitting down for a 3-hour epic film at home, like it's the type of thing you got to get me there.
My version of it is I am sitting down for it at home, and then about 20 minutes in, I'm going 2-screen experience.
Oh, sure.
And then eventually, possibly 3 screens.
You're Googling, and then eventually...
I got the laptop open with the Mariners, and then I've got the phone going with TikTok.
You're using Kalshi to bet on whether or not Odysseus makes it home.
I was taping that, Andrew. How dare you?
I said if he makes it home. So here's the deal. I've been struggling with this in my head and almost rehearsing it a little bit more than I usually would because I have an opinion on something that has been discussed on this show before regarding going to the movies. And I truly believe, well, first of all, my opinion on this is out of step with most movie-going Americans. I've heard this from our listening audience, and I am fine with that. It is just an opinion. And one of my least favorite things in the world right now is when people have an opinion on something, especially an opinion on something that doesn't matter, like, you know, how you like your food prepared or something like that, and then people are like arguing about it as if there's a yes or no answer or a right or wrong answer. Like, you're eating your hot dog wrong or like whatever. Like, I just, you know, some people like certain things and others don't. Like, I have a song about that, right? Who was the person who called in
we
with
can
the
like
we can like
things.
different things? Do I have the physical to say?
We like different things, and that's okay.
I live by this.
'Cause we just like different things.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about my opinions, especially on the opinion that I'm about to reshare.
That's why you don't let us do that segment I love called "Is a Hot Dog a Movie Theater Seat?"
It's exactly the
you keep
killing
that during our editorial meetings.
You know what I'm building up to. The opinion that I'm out of step with most Americans on is that I don't like the modern seating in theaters. Right, that you sit in a lounger and it pushes you back and your legs go up. And in fact, when I sit in those seats, I don't do any of that. I might be the only fella in the theater who is just sort of still sitting straight up and down while everybody around me has their feet up and everything, including the woman with the Tivas to my left yesterday or Saturday that before the lights went down I found to be very unpleasantly distracting, having her little foot dangling right in my line of sight during the trailers. Having said all of that, it is my opinion, and it's just an opinion, the theaters were better before we had this sort of at-home style lounging experience. I don't like crawling, getting up, and like walking past everybody's feet while I'm going to like use the restroom or get a refill of my beverage.
Can I ask
or whatever.
A quick question? Because I honestly don't know if I've actually been as much in the movie theaters as you over the last couple of years, so I don't have a real picture of this. When you say you don't like walking past people's feet, is it the case that when people do this recline and their feet are out, does it also create really like less room to get through, or is it more just being near their feet that's uncomfortable? Are their feet kind of blocking the aisle too?
Well, if I'm being completely honest about this, even though you do have to squeeze by, it is probably easier physically to walk by people who are sitting down in this position than it would be in an old school theater where the knees, people would have to like, you have to move your knees or whatever. I actually think they do have more built-in room.
Okay.
It is more of a, and it's not even like a feet are icky thing for me. It's just this like sort of it just seems so unseemly to me. Like there are certain things.
Lounging towards Gomorrah.
Lounging
is your issue.
towards
And
Gomorrah.
that, I believe, is an early show title.
And so, but again, I understand that almost everybody I've heard from on the show, I think, like, or as far as people who listen to the show, I think maybe one person, there was one lone voice in the wild that agreed with me, but everybody else is
I
like,
heard
no,
somebody
I
else
love it.
mention this the other day in the wild, and I thought of you. I can't remember the person or the context, but I heard somebody else say something like, well, those, everyone's kind of like, just all reclined at the movie theater. And I thought of you, and I thought, okay, because I do agree, this is an outsider opinion you have, but there is somebody else in the world. I can't give you their name or information, but I did hear someone kind of agreeing with you recently.
Well, a while ago on the show, we did play somebody's Subway take, which was an agreement with me that these seats aren't better than the old seats, but that they had a specific take, which was that it's bad for dates because it's harder to kind of have the kind of casual makeout or sort of brush hands or whatever because you're ensconced in these, Wall-E style floaters.
There is no way I would have been able to make out with Allison Greenleaf the summer between 10th and 11th grade at the Uptown movie theater seeing Death Becomes Her.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I still don't really know what happens in that movie.
Oh, look at you.
Because
lucky
I was
dog.
Yeah, but if we were the listener is absolutely right. Were we in these big recliners it would have been there would have been too much distance between us.
Yeah, that was a Subway take that somebody shared on that podcast. So anyway, I do know that there's one person who agrees with me, but that's because of more of their sexy predilections than mine.
Yes.
I'm more in a relationship with popcorn and oversized soda in these situations. Having said that, so my whole point of this is it's okay to like different things. That like I realize I like it the old way. I don't have a great rationale for this. It's just like this weird thing that like I wish we just presented a certain way in public and that is differed than how we present when we're sitting in our loungers. Just a tiny bit of kind of like I'm sitting in this movie theater. But again, I'm happy to say that I am an outsider on that opinion. Fine, whatever. But then I can't help myself. I had a thought while I was watching the trailers and the previews and all the commercials. I think this is interesting. They are now putting commercials in between the trailers now. Remember when there were no commercials in the lead up to movies? And then, and I'm not going to get on, I mean, who cares? Like, whatever. But then people used to complain like, oh, they're putting commercials before the trailers now, just like Coke commercials and car commercials. Now they're integrating them.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Which is kind of interesting. You can watch Brad Pitt running around with his dog in some god-awful looking movie. And then all of a sudden, like, you're being sold a Lexus, and then you're back to a trailer. It's kind of interesting, but that's not my hot take. My hot take is this. In these setup videos that you watch, one of them is like this Coke commercial that's been playing at AMC for a long time, where like this kind of youngish couple in their 20s or 30s, they kind of start meeting in various like movie style tropes, and they're having dance-offs off in the street. You've probably seen it before, whatever. But
they La La Landed a little bit.
They kind of La La Land, then they kind of Fast and Furious it at one point. They're in racing cars or whatever, and then at the end they find themselves in their seat in the front row of a movie theater. And there was something else that portrayed a movie theater, and you know what I noticed in all of these portrayals of movie theaters as being depicted on the screen in a movie theater is none of them are in these Wall-E seats. They're all still classic movie theater seats, because we know deep down, even if you love kicking your tootsies up, we know that there is something unseemly about that, right? And how long will it be before we are shown actual depictions of what it's like inside of an actual movie theater these days? I think much like using the answering machine as a way of, like long after answering machines like went out of style, they were still used for exposition in films. I think we're going to continue to see movie theaters portrayed in the classic movie theater, setup of we're sitting down, feet are on the floor, and we have a bucket of popcorn in our lap.
Think Michael Jackson Thriller video.
Exactly.
We're leaning forward. We're eating popcorn.
Yes.
We have good posture. Well, here's part of it, Andrew. And this is as the probably the inaugural voyage of TBTL TV. This is perfect because is there anything I'm going to show you? Me. Okay, here I am. I'm in the studio. This is me in a normal movie theater seat. Imagine my iced coffee is my bucket of popcorn. Okay. And now imagine I'm this way.
Yeah. Good look, right?
In the words of Zach Galifianakis, it ain't too flattering.
What is
everybody
that for baskets?
Everybody just, no, you know what I was doing? I was misremembering this drop that I just played, which is...
I'm starting to feel like a corn dog at a hot dog party, and it ain't flattering, I'll tell you that.
It ain't flattering.
I kind of had it. I had most of it.
You did, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, being fully recumbent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably been one of the number one issues with the recumbent bicycle. To take it back to one of our favorite recent television projects, DTF St. Louis, I think you really hit on something here, my friend, which is like there are the contexts in which we expect people to be recumbent and the context in which we don't. Right. And like, the movie theater, while it feels good, it doesn't look great, and also bicycles. We don't expect you to be fully laid out while you're riding your bike.
One of my favorite lines from DTF St. Louis is when the kid, the like teenager or preteen, is kind of emulating his dad and getting into recumbent biking, and he's so excited about it. But his mom, Linda Cardellini, is like pretty like, wow, these things look dorky, but she doesn't want to say that to her son, who's finally like kind of experiencing joy,
like, engaged in life.
Exactly. And he's riding it around her in the street, and he says, "This just looks so cool." And she says, "Does it?" And that line, she reminds me of somebody that we know, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but just like she's like, does it? Like she wants to be supportive of her kid who's finally happy, but she just can't get on board with a recumbent bike.
the person who's wandering the neighborhood in a comically oversized umpire's uniform.
Or the umpire's uniform, yeah. Oh, sorry. And then she's got her Purina little...
Although that's, I guess, kind of for her job as it was, as opposed to the recumbent bike. But so, okay, I think that's an interesting observation, and I do think it says a lot. There's the comfort factor, and then there's the, I guess we could say, aesthetics of it. And the aesthetics of it do not lend themselves to... it's not great. And so when they're showing us in the movie theater, they're not showing us as we are anymore. They're showing us as we used to be. And as we look, let's just say, a little more put together, a little more locked in, a little less, like you put it, Wall-E'd.
Yeah. Which I haven't seen that in a long time, but I believe it doesn't start with showing just like a human race that has gotten so lazy that they're just floating around on their backs in pods or something.
I do believe that is, that I haven't actually seen Wall-E. And not because of any sort of intentional like avoiding of it. Part of it is because, again, I just didn't see it in the theater. And then what I heard was it's kind of heartbreaking. Like it's a movie about loneliness. Yeah. And it just because it's Pixar, which, by the way, I was corrected on Blue Sky by our friend, the marsupial gurgle. What would you call it? Proprietor, the person running marsupial gurgle. They clarified that the lamp doesn't stamp down the P in Pixar. It stomps down the I.
I saw that too. I didn't even remember you specifying that it was the P.
I did, and I was wrong, and I was actually about to go. I wanted to say to this person online, the P makes more sense because it looks like a P, but then I realized, no, you know what? It makes the light the dot above the eye. Well, so that actually does make sense.
That conversation led to me telling you about this classic IKEA commercial that involves a lamp of kind of a similar design. And it ended up being, it is a famous commercial because it has its own Wikipedia page. You and I talked about it. But one thing I failed to mention, I think, a listener pointed this out to me via social media. First of all, that was directed by Spike Jonze. That's critical information. And also they said, don't forget, there was a follow-up to that about 20 or 30 years later that Spike Jonze also directed. That was like a sequel to that. And then they said, do you know where I learned this information? A podcast called After These Messages. And I had no...
Thank God it was on that and not TBTL because...
but still, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, I guess I kind of should have known that. But you know what, though? That person, by the way, it was a gentle ribbing. But that still felt like a victory to me. The fact that I was describing that commercial to you from the cobwebs of my brain, and then you immediately looked it up, and I got several...
You got a lot of it right.
I got several things right about it. Felt good.
What did you think of the Odyssey without, I don't know, creating... The danger here is not that you will spoil it for me, but that you will, if you give it too high of praise, then I'll get disappointed. Or if you, I guess the only really good sort of approach here is for you to tell me it stinks, and then I'm excited when I see it.
Yeah.
But were you? I assume you were sort of gritting your teeth through all the woke stuff.
It was a little woke for me. I still like.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It was almost an argument for getting off of social media because it was a little bit in my head because every now and then I'd be
on social media or getting off of social media.
What did I say? Getting off? Did I say getting off?
No, but I've just been asked not to do one of those things anymore.
Maybe all of those things.
Okay, fair.
I wouldn't even know. Like I can't tell since we brought up the woke joke. Which is a nickname for me amongst some of my peers on the right, I believe.
And the guy that lives across the street from you called it the woke joke.
The woke joke, exactly. Every now and then I was like, wait a second, why are people mad at this? And you explained it to me on the show that it had to do with like casting more of a diverse cast than some people think it should have been or something. But again, this
well, Elliot Page being cast as one of the soldiers.
Right, sure.
Elliot Page, a trans man, and then also Lupita Nyong'o and also Zendaya playing pivotal characters, and they are, I
Helen
think
and
Coleman
Athena,
Domingo might be in it as well. Basically, like, black actors, non-white actors in the traditional white role made up 6,000 years ago, which I think there's even some evidence that like the idea of Homer is like not even a single person, but it was sort of just like the collection of a bunch of kind of folk tales and things. I mean, you couldn't be dealing with a less like sort of like white thing back in the day, and the idea that it would be anyway. I
mean, it involves a cyclops. I mean, that's just sort of like the fact that there's a
kinda says it all.
Cyclops, a giant
One Cyclops says it all.
and I'm just saying that, like, but you're worried about the fact that it's not
No, the
realistic
Cyclops
enough.
was white, though, and everybody
And
knows
actually,
that.
it was, yes, and didn't seem to have any junk, which I thought was interesting. But anyway, I did like the movie. I was starting to say that it's kind of like it kind of bummed me out that was in my head a little bit because I was like, I don't even know if that's a real thing. I know like Elon Musk or something was taking a couple of shots at it. It's like, should I even know that? You know what I mean? But it didn't live in my head too much during the movie. Just kind of bummed me out that I knew it at all. I'm just like, is there really a backlash to this movie, or is it just a couple of people who are like repeating the wrong people on social media or what have you? But yeah, I don't think any reasonable person would even really notice the casting other than that it was just because it's just like all these stories from this time. I'll tell you one thing, and this is what I believe I wrote on Letterboxd. Man, that guy just keeps on getting into one adventure after another, and that's basically what it is about. And I think it's generally
How
pretty
did you
good.
feel about Matt Damon's performance? I've heard from some people they think it might be his best performance ever, and that
interesting.
includes the Dunkin' commercials.
It's not better than it's not better than the Dunkings. But
is he in the Dunkings, or is that just Affleck?
Oh, yeah.
He's in it.
I get all those guys confused. So I'm
You get Matt Damon and Ben Affleck confused.
No, just that whole Well, I mean, I don't want to start this whole thing again, but like I was doing some math after the movie, trying to remember. Like I have to remember which one is Matt Damon and which one is the other guy from One Battle After Another.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, I get those guys confused. It's just, no, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Don't try to figure it out.
Crazy. They kind of have similar looking faces. I'm not kidding. The reason, the fact that for periods of time, Leonardo DiCaprio has been one of the more famous people on Earth is the only reason you saw me making that face, and the people watching TBTL TV saw that. But that's not because those guys look dissimilar, actually. They actually look closer than like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck do.
Yes,
so that's not insane that you would mix them up. It's only the sheer famousness of Leo DiCaprio that caused me to have that reaction.
But also Matt Damon. Don't you think that? Okay, and so this has come up on the show before. I think this show, and listeners have sort of had my back on that, so I appreciate that. And I'm sorry I called you Wall-E, but I do think that maybe things have been written about that, because when I tell people that, they're very surprised by it. But I think there's a segment of the population that is maybe face blind like me, that like people were sharing text conversations with friends that are kind of like, oh, I'm halfway through this text conversation, I'm just realizing that Matt Damon and Leo are different people, or the reason The Departed was so confusing to me.
Facial structure.
Because those, and just like same level of fame, same generation of actors, you know what I mean? Like just kind of a lot of similar qualities, even though if I saw them next to each other, I could say which one is which.
Sure.
And you've noticed a couple of times you've bailed me out as sometimes Leo's name slips out of my head when I'm saying Matt Damon's name. It's like there's only so much room in this damn head of mine, and it ain't a lot of room. But I did think his performance was good. Here's the thing. Okay, so generally speaking, I'm not in the bag for epic movies or storytelling. I believe I read the Iliad when I was in college, and the only thing I remember about it was like generally thinking I don't like it. I don't like epics. I remember thinking that, like even Beowulf and all that stuff. Like I just don't like epic tales, and I'm not necessarily in the bag for Christopher Nolan either. Like I'm not against him, but he's made like the Inception movie is not exactly one of my favorite movies. I was ready for that to be over by the time
I love
ended.
Inception's existence just because it gave us the quick reference of, oh, you're incepting me right now.
Sure,
which is just, when you're putting an idea inside of an idea Matryoshka style, now we can just say it's like an Inception thing, and we all know what we're talking about. So thank you for that, Christopher Nolan.
Thank you for that. And again, I don't even think that's a bad movie. I just don't remember that well, and I just remember feeling like, okay, it felt very what's the word? Like his movies tend to be very, very long, self-serious, and also just sort of self-serving, and not self-serving, but just like, could you tighten it up a little bit? I know.
Not a big humor guy and not a big editing guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of editing going on in the film, but he's not a guy who's ever, at least at this point in his career, been told, lop 20 minutes off the end, and he has to do it.
That's right. In his Batman movies, I liked, but like the one that, like the second act of one takes place on the ferry system, I was like, this would have been great as two movies. I just felt like they were way too sort of long. But anyway, but I'm not here to trash him either, because I liked Oppenheimer, and there's some stuff I like and some stuff that I can leave. So the point of all that is I'm not in the bag for either the style of storytelling or necessarily the director, but it really did live up to the hype in that it's a good good movie. It's hard not to like sort of think like, wow, this is literally one of the oldest stories ever told, and it can still hold up with the right storytelling. You know what I mean? And that it's adaptable to a modern audience, I think is really incredible. And there's something about that. Having said that, I also wondered if it had what I call for myself a little bit of the comic book effect, which is I tend to forgive, let's say, a plot hole or some extra drama or something in a movie that is based on a comic book, because I can easily say, well, it's kind of comic booky. That's the source, you know, and we don't take comic books that seriously. And so in a certain way, I can sort of apply the same thing. Like, the moments of this are just a little bit maybe big or corny or whatever, but it's also, I was just saying, yeah, but it was also, it's the Odyssey. You know what I mean? It's really, really old. and so it kind of had this little built-in relief valve of some things that maybe if it was a brand new script, which is kind of hilarious to say, but if it was a brand new story that somebody came up with, I might be more critical of it.
That actually could be really useful for me too, because you know how I'm kind of literal with my movie watching, and I have a hard time with people and characters doing stuff that I feel like isn't particularly justified or motivated. And I'm sure in this, in this Homeric epic, there's going to be some stuff that's like not 100% justified, but just to know that, okay, that's what we're dealing with. I think I heard or read somewhere that, I don't know if they took I don't know. I think that they also sort of like, they took a little bit of creative license. And the last time that I read the Iliad or the Odyssey, I believe it was a cartoon version. Speaking of comic books,
but it was something that you read, like a graphic novel or something.
It was like a graphic novel of it, but maybe I think it was still because it's so long. I think it was still a fairly sizable book, but it was mostly pictures. And I remember being quite riveted, but that's because it was pictures and not the writing.
And you were a kid. You were a young kid, right?
I might have been older than I'd like to admit, but let's just say I was still like, I was probably a teenager or something. But I think that with this one, I think I heard again or read somewhere that like this is Christopher Nolan and the writers of this movie sat down and said, okay, let's tease out the most entertaining parts and let's piece this together and let's leave some of this behind because it doesn't go anywhere, and let's maybe amp up some other parts of it. So I think this is sort of the Odyssey, but also the Odyssey as adapted for a 2026 movie audience too.
It did seem like a rip-off of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That would have been a great joke if I hadn't stumbled on it. Not even that great of a joke.
Do you know how long it took me to figure that out, by the way? And by figure it out, I mean was told by somebody.
Oh, I think I knew going in, but I don't really know
John Goodman going, why is he being so mean?
Yeah. Does he represent actually? He represents the Cyclops. Yeah. So Oh Brother.
And I think he literally has an eye patch. Right?
Oh, yeah, right.
This character, he literally has one eye. And I'm like, I don't get any of the symbolism of this movie.
I don't know that I would have. I think I knew going in, but I also was pretty unfamiliar with the Odyssey. I'm really bad at this era. Genevieve just knows more about like the Roman and Greek gods and goddesses and all that stuff. It's like I just never had an interest in it. Yeah, it just kind of washes over me. So then I always have to like kind of remember, oh yeah, what is the deal with Helen and everything and Troy, yeah, but
Narcissus,
but
that's more Greek than I don't know.
So good. But honestly, the way they portray the Trojan horse, the realism of it, and it really is like it is incredible. I couldn't help but to think of Homer as they're messing around with the Trojan horse, though, saying nobody in history has ever been this clever. I don't know if you remember that episode of The Simpsons.
But I was remembering a joke that I heard a stand-up comic tell the other day, which was that the Trojan Condom Company clearly did not really understand how Trojan horses worked when they named their company after it.
Yeah, in that, there's stuff inside that,
It's stuff inside which is going to sneak out in the middle of the night and destroy you.
Yeah,
that's like kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do here with this prophylactic.
But, so here's one thing that I guess is sort of, so first of all, quick thing on Nolan. It reminded me.
You don't have much of an appetite for condom talk today.
I just have thoughts that are building up, and if they build up, that's unhealthy. So they tell me just go outside and play basketball, but it doesn't help. Yeah. So Christopher Nolan, I believe it or not, even though the time periods couldn't be more different, I'm starting to see more like parallels in his work, like as far as sound design. The sound design of Oppenheimer and this were very similar in just the fact that it's kind of overwhelming in this way that he really knows how to use not just the sensory overload of sound, but also the opposite of sound, and when to pull all the sound away.
Wow.
Like he just does such a good job with that. And also, for me, it was very notable that he really this came up on the show the other day. Remember the boot stomping during Oppenheimer? It sort of leads up to it. There's something very similar where everybody's like kind of pounding their staffs or whatever. And I like kind of noticing little parallels like that in his work. And then the other thing I wanted to say
Matt
was
Damon says, "I have become deaf."
Yeah, that was. It seemed it worked. That's what I just want to say is that it worked. The other thing is, as you sort of talk about the story and this ancient story, and I don't know how much of this is. I mean, I do believe that the original text does contain this. I don't know how much it was amped up in this modern retelling, but like it feels so biblical long before the Bible. Like as far as the lessons of, the gods, but still like what is Zeus's law? It's that you never say no to a neighbor in need. They're welcome into the house. The way
the golden rule.
The golden rule is literally brought up. They don't call it the golden rule, but like do unto me, I think, or something along the lines of that. The way you treat beggars, and also like generally the idea of original sin ends up being sort of like the where did humanity lose its way and what is original sin? I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, that's really interesting that this is pre-Christianity.
Is it the Iliad or the Odyssey where I might be thinking of yet another, like, oh no, is that Oedipus Rex?
It might be Inherent Vice. I don't know.
Oh yes, is it Gravity's Rainbow?
It's Gravity's Rainbow.
Is it the Crying of Lot 49 or whatever?
Did I tell you I read that? Don't ask me what it's about.
I'm reading David Sedaris right now, his latest book of essays, and one of the things he talks about is how he is not very smart, and that how he says, you'll never catch me cracking open a Thomas Pynchon novel, even the audio version. I thought, well, Andrew's smarter than David Sedaris. That's pretty cool.
That's not true.
That's pretty cool. But no, which one? Okay, so that's not where Oedipus is not involved in any of this, right? That's Oedipus Rex. That's where he's basically left out to die on a hill with his Achilles tendon pierced, and then so that he won't fulfill the prophecy of killing his dad.
No, Achilles, you're confusing Achilles and Oedipus. Those are different guys.
I know, but doesn't he have his
does Oedipus
pierced?
I didn't think
He's
so.
left on a hillside with his heels.
He's blinded. He has to plunge his own eyes out with like
eventually,
sharp
but I
needles.
think he starts out on a hillside with some problems with his Achilles heel.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
because this is.
I mean, darest I Google it, or do we just want to let it go?
Let's. You darest, sir, darest. I have a foggy, distant memory. You know what? In college, I had to write this adaptation, I think, of Oedipus Rex, and I thought I remembered that it starts out he's on a hill somewhere, or maybe it ends he's on a hill. He's got some problems with his feet, and he sort of limps his way back into town. And the whole idea is that somebody was trying to stop this prophecy from being fulfilled, which is of him basically killing his dad and marrying his mother, because that's kind of what was set in motion. And
I'm not. So here's the deal. I am deeply, deeply uncertain around these topics because I don't know it that well. But I'm not seeing any indication.
Okay.
You have the Achilles heel story, which is different than I think.
So is that related? Does that happen in the Odyssey?
No, no, but that would be a Greek god things, right? Achilles was a god. Oedipus was just a man, right? But yeah, I mean, Achilles and his heel, that's my memory of that is
happened to him.
He's like, isn't he dipped in a river to protect him, but his mom has to hold him by his heels as a baby. So that's the one place that the water didn't touch, and that's why his heels are his one weakness.
Achilles was killed during the Trojan War when the Trojan prince Paris shot him in his vulnerable heel with an arrow guided by the god Apollo. So there you go. The river Styx is what he was dipped in. The river Styx.
Oh, okay,
like the band.
Exactly.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
I just joined for the high parts. That made a lot of sense there. But yeah, so anyway, I think those are different stories. Although you're right, but the Achilles thing is all the story of the gods, right? So I mean, whatever. Like I'm really in that point where so many members of our audience right now know more about this than I do. So I just want to maybe slowly back away and just let them know what they know and keep them from smashing their phones.
King Laius and Queen Jocasta of Thebes had infant Oedipus's ankles pierced and pinned together to prevent a prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mother. They abandoned him on a mountain to die, but a shepherd saved him. The name Oedipus means swollen foot because of the injury.
So there is a heel thing, but it's not Achilles
Not
heel.
Achilles,
Okay.
but at least,
All right. At least you don't feel like you're totally gaslit.
No, I was gaslit by you intentionally withholding that information.
Yes, I will be honest. I didn't just type in heel. I typed in Achilles heel. Yes.
No, but well, I'm excited. I am excited about the Odyssey, but you're right. I've got to get me to a theater soon because it's one of those things where also, and we've discussed this, it's the kind of movie that I also need to be, not just for the 2 to 3 screen experience, but just for the I don't know, the whole getting through of it. I need to be locked in a theater with my popcorn. I can't be at my house with other options and things to distract me. I need to just get there. This is we were talking the other day about the businesses, the types of businesses, or even the specific brands of businesses that indicate if you're in a particular kind of income bracket of a city. Like maybe it's you have a Pizza Hut near you or you don't or whatever. Well, there is no IMAX theater anywhere near me. I mean, I've got to go all the way down to the big city of Portland, which just tells you I'm in red America. I don't think you could probably take a note, Nate Silver. You could probably learn a lot about voting patterns by how close does somebody live to an IMAX theater.
Wait a second, though. I'm not saying you're wrong, but that wouldn't be my knee-jerk reaction. I would think that people who live in, I mean, I know you're rural, but I don't think of IMAX theater as being an urban thing. I think of it as being a deeply suburban thing, no? This is my way into the IMAX movies phenomenon, and I'm sure this is just really hyper-specific to me. When I was growing up, the only IMAX movie theater in Seattle was at the Science Center. Oh yeah, that's where,
literally.
Yeah,
at
that's
the
where,
Pacific. That's where you went.
Well, not for this, and in fact, I think they've just recently closed that down, or are getting ready to close that down, which is kind of I think a big blow to IMAX movie lovers. But I had never seen Jurassic Park at all until about I don't know. Maybe it was 15 years ago that they brought the original one back to IMAX theaters as a way of introducing the reboot, the first reboot of that series or whatever. And Genevieve and I went to see Jurassic Park at the IMAX at the Science Center, and on her advisement, we ate psychedelic mushrooms ahead of time,
Clever
which is
girl.
something that she likes to do, and I have a harder time with. And I remember they make me so paranoid, and I wish I hadn't eaten them. And then I remember we were waiting in line. We got to the IMAX so early, but it's in the Science Center, which was mostly
peeking
closed.
in line.
We sort of, but they had a hurricane machine there. A few of the little things were open in the Science Center, even though it was after hours. So Vives and I went into this tiny little phone booth thing and turned on the wind, so it felt like you were in the middle of a hurricane. I remember that was kind of cool. But then, I was so nervous about peeking in line, and I was like, I'm going to run into somebody I know. They're going to know. They're going to know. And then we ran into somebody we knew, and it really bummed me out. But aside from that,
did they know? And have you followed up?
I
with
don't.
them?
I haven't. I literally. I think it was the last time I ever saw that person, and I don't know if that's
that checks
related
out.
or not. To be honest,
I think you are actually right about the IMAX thing, Andrew. Which is because I'm googling around. The closest IMAX to me is in Vancouver, Washington. Now, here's the thing: Vancouver is still when there's a vote in this part of the state, Southern Washington, that's the blue area. That's bringing in all the blue votes. Marie Gluesenkamp Perez got elected on the strength of Vancouver and not out where I am. But it is a much more suburban phenomenon now than it used to be. When I was growing up, I think there was fewer of them, IMAX screens. And so, again, the one that I knew of anyway was literally at the Science Center, which is very kind of, I would say, Democrat coded, but I think you're right. They've added them to more Regals and these big multiplex theaters will have an IMAX, and so those could be all over the country and could be in any kind of a area in terms of voting. I still would say, that's not even true, because do they put out those Fast and Furious movies in IMAX now too and stuff like that? They all come out in IMAX, right?
I don't know. I really don't know, Luke. I honestly don't know if the movie theater I was in was technically an IMAX theater, because it was at the Oak Tree Theater here, right around the corner of my, right around the corner.
Don't get me started on that theater. Most of the movies that I saw in my youth were at Oak Tree Cinema.
And so when I think of the IMAX, I think of what you're talking about, when you go down to the Science Center or the Seattle Center or whatever, and you're sitting in this very specific building that was made for it back in the day, and it's just really huge. That's how we saw Oppenheimer. But now they make smaller versions of IMAX theaters. And Genevieve, I will say this. We went at 1:00 on a Saturday, and it was packed. And I said to Vives, like, there was no extra seats. And I said to Vives, I'm like, man, I'm surprised how busy it is this time of day. She's like, yeah, the reason we're not at the 2 p.m. is because that was already sold out. And she bought the tickets days in advance in the middle of a summer afternoon. By the way, we don't have to go into details now. Maybe it'll come up later in the week. But this was kind of one of the longest times we've left Lucy alone at home. And it was about 3.5 hours if you consider the whole thing. And so we keep her in the kitchen for that, just so that she can kind of stay out of trouble. But Genevieve had the idea of let's make sure that she has a really busy morning so that she's chilled out in the kitchen by herself for 3.5 hours. So we took her to the dog park at Magnuson, which you recommended. I think even before we knew we were bringing Lucy home, it's just a good place to let the dog run around and splash. That is an incredible dog park. I've never seen anything like it before. What a morning we had watching her. You have to walk pretty far. I mean, I guess you know all of this. You park and then...
It's been a while. I used to live over in that neighborhood. I lived in Bryant, kind of close by. So that was 30 probably 25 years ago.
It's a huge off-leash area, and then you walk, and then I still don't, maybe it's the soft bigotry of lowered expectations about dogs or my own dog, but I didn't know what to expect. All this off-leash area, but she just somehow knows to stay with me and Genevieve, but can hang back and play with some dogs or run ahead and play with some dogs and then match our pace again. And then we got to the water and she just made a best friend there, some sort of a German Shepherd. And then they just became best friends and were just running around in the water together while a third dog tried to play with them. It was just God, these dog parks are just giving me just life.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you're getting integrated into that life because I don't know. I've had a human child, and I swear to God, it's more fun to watch the dog run around with other dogs than the human child at the McDonald's Playland.
It's so great.
It's so satisfying when they're having a fun time, and you're thinking they're gonna sleep so good later.
Yes, exactly. And she was totally. It worked out because we probably spent 2 hours there. She's splashing around. She's just getting so much stimulation. And then we bring her home, and then every now and then I did have to pee twice during the movie because I was drinking those giant sodas.
Didn't you bring your stadium pal?
No, I didn't. Speaking of Sedaris, but when I would go sneak off and use the restroom, I would look at I would look at Lucy on the little Lucy cam we have set up in the kitchen, and she was just sweetly sleeping the whole time. So. Great afternoon.
Just for the record, Oak Tree Cinema does not have an IMAX screen.
Oh, okay. So that was not an IMAX screen that I watched. And I thought Genevieve was trying to choose between IMAX screens, but she might have been looking at other theaters.
I'm so heartened by what you're talking about, the turnout for this movie, because and it also, we need to do some top stories and talk about my defenestration at the hands of John Oliver this week. But I have no idea what is going to work and not work as a film project with the masses because, and granted, you're in liberal, godless Seattle, but this is an ambitious movie to make, right? And everybody knows it's long, and it's a topic that, it is not a Fast and Furious. It is, I guess you could say, Andrew, it's the ultimate existing IP.
Mm-hmm, it is, yeah.
But not
and action. It's it's very filled with action.
But not that in a country that elected Donald Trump, I would say I would not assume that 90% of us are still steeped in the work of Homer as it relates to the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And so to hear that people, and again, it'd be interesting to see how this is playing out across America, but just to hear that this is selling out, that just is, I don't know, that again, and maybe it's Seattle, so that doesn't mean much, except there's a lot of brainy cinephiles in Seattle that are really interested in this movie. But again, the part of the internet that I look at, I see a lot of these shows selling out and people going at 3 a.m. to see the 70 millimeter print. And just seems like I just would have thought oh, you tell me it's 2+ hours and it's about an old Greek epic. I would just think that that's just not going to fly with people. It just doesn't have, there's not nearly enough emojis in it. No one at any time yells chicken jockey.
That is not entirely true. I don't want to spoil it for you, but that is not entirely true. There's a huge chicken jockey scene.
I would have thought this is one of those vanity projects that they're letting Christopher Nolan make because he's Christopher Nolan, and that it's going to be a sort of a bloated movie that is kind of just a slog, and then what's going to happen is 10 years from now, where there's going to be a re-examination of it, and it's going to be in the Criterion Collection, and it's going to be that's not because I dislike Christopher Nolan, but I'm so happy to hear that people are going to this. I'm happy. I was happy to see the reviews that it actually kind of works. I'm happy to hear your review of it. Like, I'm always just looking for anything that indicates that maybe we have not completely and totally like gone over the Niagara Falls of just full mouth breathing as a country.
But I mean, the thing is, and this is maybe my naivete going into this, but like for me, it doesn't even seem like I think that like the Inception movie is way more intellectually challenging. You really got to figure out like, oh, are we on the inside of people's brains or sleep structures?
Well, once
or
you're
whatever.
in there,
What's
in
that?
the movie theater, once you're in the movie theater, I'm not even saying I haven't seen this movie, but I mean people just going to the movie theater to me feels like a W.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but and again, this is where I just sort of think, but it's like one of the most basic stories. It's like not a thinker, and it, like for me, I remember hearing Christopher Nolan is making this movie and not really paying much attention to it because I don't know, like I said before, like I'm fine with Christopher Nolan, but I don't go seeking. I'm not a Nolan seeker, and so I was like, I just didn't pay any attention to it. I'd heard people talking about it. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a huge epic. Didn't he? He did that one during the pandemic, right? That like also I think about that. I'm like, oh my god, I'll never see that. I have no desire to see that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's called like Tenet. Started with Tenet.
Yeah. And so like I have no desire to see
Which
that.
was like backwards or something. Like it sounded like it made Inception look like an episode of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
And I'm now wondering, is it because what is it, an anagram not an anagram, when something is spelled the same backwards and forwards, like Taco Cat?
Yeah, that is
that why
oh my
it's
gosh,
called Tenet?
My sister Hannah's name is also one of these things that I can't believe that we're not remembering, and it is called a...
You stolen from
something
me.
Is spelled the same.
Palindrome. Sorry, everybody. I brought it up, and I didn't know.
A few small beers.
A few small beers. So anyway, the only thing about... I was at home, and I was like, maybe during a baseball game or something, commercial for a movie started playing several months ago. I was like, oh, that actually looks kind of good. And again, I'm not an action guy. And then it said The Odyssey at the end. And I'm like, oh... Like, it turns out this is just kind of a good action movie. And in a certain way, I mean, that is the story. It's just this guy, going around the world, finding himself in various action scenes. So, like, in a certain way, it is not, there isn't a huge intellectual barrier there.
I hear what you're saying, and it's obviously proven to be the case that there is an awareness of the story, and it is in a way not asking too much of the viewers. But to me, it's like Robin Hood. It's like if he made a Robin Hood and people went inside, it'd be like, I would be unsurprised because it'd be like, it's to me, it's just like how far back the IP goes, to the Odyssey, But and it's in black and white also, right?
No,
it's not.
No.
That wasn't a joke. Somehow I got it in my mind. It's in black and white.
No, I don't know if there's a black and white cut or something like that, but no, this was not.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm excited to go see it very soon, but not before I tell you about my latest embarrassment in the public eye.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
I woke up this morning to a text message from my friend Paul saying, great seeing you last night on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And I was like, oh. And I just knew right away, that's not good.
You only got one time. I would assume.
I think there have a few more. That was the first.
Okay, yeah.
But I think I got a couple of emails too about it. But I just it's funny that like my first thought was like, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because I know how that show works, and what they're doing is they're on some kind of a. And by the way, I love the show. I think the show is really well done. But there's no way that I'm going to be in there because I did something cool, and they want to highlight me. I'm in there because probably, and this proved to be the case, I was just generating some sort of content for CBS Sunday Morning that just helped them with a visual explanation of something, if that makes sense.
Am I right in the fact that you were briefly shown doing goat yoga on Last Week Tonight at one point?
I forget. Yeah, so I guess I didn't make my debut. I guess that this is maybe my sophomore effort. But yeah, same kind of deal. Like, I have now at this point generated enough content for CBS television that every once in a while a producer for Last Week Tonight is trying to find some sort of a news story about some kind of a silly topic, and maybe I was the person who did that news story. And so I'm never on there, or like both times I've been on there, it's never because, again, I'm looking cool. It's because I'm kind of looking probably a little unself-aware, like a network news TV person, it ain't the coolest that I get. Let's just put it that way. And so I was like, oh God, let me go see. So I checked it out this morning, and I'll just play it for you here, Andrew. I think we actually have the ability. It's actually the episode. This is the most recent episode, and the overall episode was about like Trump and crypto, but they do a little lagniappe at the end, and it was about the tourism. I think they were off. They were on their summer break or something. They were off for a few weeks, so they weren't putting their show up during the main World Cup stuff. And so the story was kind of about like World Cup tourism, people coming over from other places in the world to experience America, and that a lot of them were getting kind of obsessed with Buc-ee's, the chain of enormous gas stations. And of course, as they're talking about Buc-ee's and they start to describe it, they cut to a little bit of my TV story that I did about Buc-ee's some years ago. So here, take a little view of this.
Chain originating in Texas, where you can not only waterboard your bladder with Dr. Pepper, but where they famously do everything to excess.
These days, Buc-ee's has 41 travel centers throughout the South and boasts 2 world records for the world's largest gas station and the world's longest car wash.
Now, let me just point out, there's footage of me you're about to see, and I'm inside the car in the world's largest car wash. And my heart really sank when I saw that what this was going to be, because I have a vague memory of them rigging the car up with a bunch of GoPros and just like putting me in the car and saying, just like, explore the space. Just give your reaction to what's going on in the car wash. And it's like, what do you say about being in a really long car wash? You just kind of, I guess if you're me, you say the following.
Wash. Whoa. Technicolor. Haven't seen that before.
Okay, all right. Calm down a bit. Car washes jizz Pepto-Bismol over your windows all the time.
How dare you laugh at John Oliver telling me to calm down? He's like, calm down. Car washes jizz Pepto-Bismol colored soap all over your car all the time. But this is the thing, and this is where I'm going to sound defensive. First of all, it's harder than people think to have an interesting reaction to being in a car wash. And also, what they're not showing in the piece is that that's not what I was reacting to. I know that they put pink soap on your car when you go through the car wash. They do this other thing where it's like 50 different colors of soap, which you don't see in the video. So that's a little bit on the CBS Sunday Morning editor. They're also broadcasting pictures of the Buc-ee's logo mascot onto your windshield. There's like this crazy thing going on where they're like putting on a whole kind of light show and graphic show in the soap on your windshield. And now that's a little bit on us for, I guess, not showing that correctly enough. But I did look like I was extremely impressed with the fact that there was pink suds on there. But also, it's like, it's kind of a weird experience, and nobody who's not me would ever in a billion years even be tracking this as closely as it is. But it's kind of funny when John Oliver is making just some dumb throwaway thing you said, a punchline, and then people are laughing about it. I'll play it one more time.
Haven't seen that before.
Okay, all right. Calm down a bit. Car washes jizz Pepto-Bismol over your windows all the time is what they do. But second,
it's like, it's funny to be the person who is being, very gently, by the way, by the standards of this show, thank God, gently kind of being like made to be sort of the idiot, calm down. That's what car washes do, like
I actually think the shot from below showing the green and yellow, or the blue and yellow combining, does look.
It helps a little bit.
It does not look like a normal car wash. I have a question for you about this car wash. This being my first exposure to the story is there a reason why you need it to be so long, or is that just simply just a gimmick to get people to say I went through the world's long? Like, does it get your car more clean? I find that hard to believe.
That's, Andrew, such a good question, and one that I should have asked when I was at the Buc-ee's.
I'm sure the answer is no. It's just a novelty, and that's fine. I was just kind of curious.
But that's a really, really good question, and I really should have asked it when I was doing this story, because it's this, the so muchness of Buc-ee's is their whole kind of appeal to people, that everything's going to be bigger and everything's going to be, and is just more time in the car wash, just more water used by the car wash machine, or do you get a better result in coming out of it? Because honestly, it's sort of if all it is just longer so they can say it's the world's longest car wash, it's kind of bad design. because it just means you have more of your life taken up going through it as the person having their car washed. More time for you to say something dumb and have John Oliver roast you. Calm down. Like being told to calm down by John Oliver, again, however gently and however glancingly is never a great feeling.
Some people would kill for that. Genevieve wants nothing but, like, literally, I think the thing that Genevieve wants the most in this world, maybe number 2 is for me to be more attentive to her needs. But the first thing that she wants is for Bob Odenkirk to yell at her out of anger. Like, you know how he's got a notorious temper and he yells all the time, but also he's a really, really sweet guy. But, like, when he yells, God damn it, in a sketch, you really feel like there's some real Bob in there as well. And what Genevieve wants more than anything is to not just meet Bob Odenkirk, but to be yelled at by him.
Does she want him to be actually mad at her?
I think so.
That's going to be the tough part.
She thinks that anyway.
So not his
Maybe we should get her
mad.
on the show to ask these. But I think she wants to really be yelled at. As if like she was supposed to, like, as if she's a gaffer on set, but then like misgaffs something. They call that a gaff, by the way. But like I think
he
that
keeps
she wants
stealing my spots on the Sunday morning commentaries. Jim Gaff again?
Yes, I am familiar. I thought I had another. Oh, can I, not to turn this into a story about me, but regarding car washes, I told you the other day I had an incredibly. You ever go to bed one night thinking, I'm going to get all this stuff done tomorrow, but then also in the back of your head, you're like, I'm not doing like half of the stuff on my list.
Oh,
I just know.
I went to bed last night thinking I'm going to get so much done today. So I guess we'll find out together what happens.
Yet I won't stop talking. You need to come on.
No, I
Let's
just mean like my plan is to be very, very productive today, but we'll find out.
But anyway, so I was really pleased with myself last Thursday because I not only did I get everything done on my list, on my mental list, but I went above and beyond. I was getting things done that wasn't even on my list. I just got into productive mode. Nice. And one of the things I did was I cleaned out our car, which was, I cleaned it out a couple of months ago, and we keep our car relatively tidy, but the introduction of a dog in our life has just introduced a lot of new chaos, and like the windows in the back of the car had her nose prints all over it. We have this.
Is she going to be a dog that sheds? What's
she
the
is
indication on
shedding
that?
at first. Apparently, the DNA thing that Genevieve filled out said that she has some gene that will make her not shed too much. And as a puppy, she didn't shed all that much. But in the past couple of weeks now, the temperatures have been extreme. So I don't know if that leads to it or not. But she's been shedding a lot. And so we have this big, it's built for dogs for the backseat of cars. It basically covers the entire back seat, this big kind of quilty thing with some pockets and various stuff that you put in your back seat.
Where did Viv get that from?
Did she buy it new? I'll bet you she didn't. Let's just say rented. Let's just say rented.
Okay,
I don't know.
Assume.
I think it was a good deal. But if she didn't buy it new, it was like new. You know what I mean? It's not filled with another dog's slobber or anything like that. Neither one of us would go for that. But like when Genevieve picked me up from the airport, I look in the back seat. That thing is just covered in dog hair.
Whoa.
There's nose prints all over the windows in the back, and then just the usual, just kind of buildup of. Anyway, point is, Andrew, I had time on Thursday, and I went out and I really cleaned and detailed the inside of the car. I went out with I think I was out there at one point with 3 different kinds of vacuum cleaners and sprays, and I take out all the mats, I hose them down, I scrub them off, I clean them. Did I scrub out one of my garbage bins while I was at it? Absolutely. I had all the supplies out there. Why wouldn't you? So I'm feeling good as I'm putting everything back in the car. And I'm remembering that we have a free car wash coupon from something that we had repaired recently. They give you free coupons for everything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take this baby. The inside is very clean right now. The seats are still a little bit damp from me trying to get some stains out and stuff. But I'm going to just drive this thing right to a Brown Bear car wash. Yes, and you have to be careful. You have to look for the full service ones. I'd already done a lot of work this day. I didn't want to be doing the hand scrubbing or anything. So I found one, I believe, in Lake City, and I rolled through. But the thing is, this is what broke my heart. By all reasonable measures, I should have taken my dog with me on this adventure. Like, we don't have to leave the car at all. Anytime I'm going somewhere where I don't have to leave the car, I like Lucy to be with me.
What if it freaks her out?
What does that mean?
What if she's not sure how to interpret?
Oh, what if the car wash freaks her out? I thought you said, what if freaks are out? I thought,
if the freaks come out at night?
I was like,
if you see a brown bear at the Brown Bear car wash, you need to make yourself big and loud, and do not turn your back on it.
It's like the Purge. All the freaks are out. By the way, there's a new movie out that is basically like the Purge for sex. I saw the trailer for it before.
I'm listening.
The plot.
It means you can kill anyone with sex for one day.
No, but I like that you went there. You can have the world can only have sex on one day. And so everybody goes out, or maybe single people can only. It was a little unclear as to what the setup was, but it clearly focuses on like one single man and one single woman. And while everybody is like making whoopee around them in like kind of public spaces or whatever, like making out, like they are navigating their own worlds without a partner, but then they have some sort of meet cute, and then the whole movie is about will they, won't they? My guess is they will. But Genevieve was like, it's just like the Purge for sex. There's like one day the world can have sex. It did not seem like a movie for me. I would rather watch The Odyssey again. But anyway, I did feel like Lucy would have loved the car wash, but I just played it too safe. I was like, these seats are clean and a little bit damp right now, and I don't want to put her dog bed back in the back again or whatever and then cover him up while I'm trying to get him to dry. But I really wanted... You're on a national cable program, and I'm just telling you that I'm disappointed I didn't take my dog through a car wash for the first time. But I do feel a little bit regretful of that. And one of these days she is going to go through a car wash, and I think she's going to flip and love it. And it should be the world's longest one.
Well, get thee to Texas, where there are many, many Buc-ee's locations. This is the thing. Now, it sounds like you've got your system, and it sounds like you're also integrating a certain amount of like shampooing and sort of upholstery cleaning when you do your car. But man, I'm telling you, those vacuum cleaners that they've got built in at the car wash place, the place where you go through. So the one down in my town that I go to now called Washman, I'll tell you what, it's first of all, it's free. The vacuums are now free. That's where the car wash industry seems to be going, is if you pay for the going through the if you pay for going through the the whatever you call it, the tunnel of car washing, then when you come out, there's just at least at the two ones that are down in the town where I live nearby, they both just have you're not supposed to just pull your car in and vacuum out. You're supposed to have gone through the drive-through. I don't think they really even monitor that. But then you just pull over, and they've got like clips. I take out the floor mats, clip them up on the thing. Those vacuum cleaners are so much. I mean, they shouldn't even be legal.
And they're like shaped. Like the cleaning the inside of a car is such bullshit for a whole bunch of reasons. But one of the things is like the angles and the shape of the floors and the windshield and everything. And those vacuums are made for that.
They're so powerful too. And then like they're on this long hose, and they've got them on both sides of the car, so you can just grab and you can get into wherever you need. I just think that's kind of the way to go if you don't want to do the whole process. I'm curious why it is that you're still doing this maybe it's because, again, they don't provide like a shampooing of your seats, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, we have the reason ours were wet was because I don't know how this keeps happening. I do think that we have some leakage issues with like the seal of our car, but also I don't know if it's from Genevieve going swimming. I don't know if it's video games or what, but like we always end up with like water stains. We have very light upholstery, like light colored upholstery. And so I feel like, and that it just looks so bad to me. It's like, so there's only so much a vacuum can do before you're like, I'm taking my Folex out there. Like I just have a whole bunch of different needs. And also, like I say, our floor mats tend to be the all-weather rubber ones, so they don't need vacuuming so much as they need like sort of scrubbing. Well, I take them out, I shake them out, but they're rubber, so then I get a bucket with like I have this big scrub brush on a pole, and so I get my Fabuloso, I put that in a car washing bucket, and then I'm like scrubbing those things. So like I do. Has
Camaro Kev seen this project? Because he would love.
Well, he maintained I don't know why he hates it when we talk about how clean his car is, but he does maintain a very clean car. But the thing about him is, it seems like he just maintains it, and that's what I don't get. Because I'm not like eating
he's an
fast
Armor All
food.
Guy.
He is using a lot of Armor All?
Like the D-Man.
Okay.
And his father before him. I think his thing is he's Armor Alling that thing like to within an inch of its life at all times. So anytime you get in, all of the surface areas are just like pristine and glowing and really, and then of course he's just keeping it vacuumed out and really nice and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's very
and
impressive.
he stays on top of it. That's what I appreciate. Though.
Yes.
Like for me, it's really, really clean right now. And then it's going to get to a point where I have to look at the car and say, do I just put rocks in my pockets and walk out to the ocean,
Yes.
or finally tackle this mess? You know what I mean? Like, there's no in between for me. I don't just like maintain. I don't just go out and like, oh, I'm gonna go just clean the windows today. I just wait for it to get so nasty that I have to clean the whole damn thing, which is
I'm
bad
today.
process.
I'm gonna. One of the things on my list actually is to go get the car washed, because I haven't done it once this summer, because I have a whole thing which is I don't want to wash the car and then leave town for 6 days and then come back and it's like a layer of dust has settled on, or it's rained or whatever. I want to get some use out of my nice, clean, pleasant vehicle. And so this is the first time where I actually have a couple of weeks in front of me where I don't have any travel planned. And so I'm very excited to go down there today and get it all washed up and vacuumed out and, get it all in kind of ship shape, and then just get to every time I get into the car. The only problem that I have, and you want to talk about boring, is about a year or two ago, I was making a dump run, and I had, for some reason, I was wearing like kind of work pants that have like a bunch of different pockets and even that like painter's loop that you can put a paintbrush in or whatever. And I had some like utility scissors in the back pocket, and I sat on my leather seat and punched like a quarter size hole. It's still attached. So the leather, I didn't like fully cut it, but there's like a leather flap now. So I bought on the internet some kind of a tape, a special black leather tape that's supposed to go over it and cover it. And it worked great until it got warm. And now it wants to peel up at the corners.
That's worse.
So now so then I peel it off. Now there's glue on the seat. Just going from bad to worse. I should go to a real upholstery place and get it fixed, but
maybe,
I
put
don't
some
know.
money in it. Also, you know what I was thinking too? We talk about like getting your car clean, then having it sit outside. What you could do, this would be a lot of work, it would be a long time project, but what if you turned your studio into a garage?
Oh, yeah.
You
Because
could
I don't
pull your
have a
car-
garage
you could-
now.
You could pull your car right up in there.
That's a really good place.
Get rid of all of that. Get rid of all the kitchen stuff, the bathroom.
Yeah.
Put a garage door in.
It's the perfect size for putting a car in
It's almost
here.
like it was built for that.
All I would need to do is just cut a big hole in that wall and put a garage door in.
Yeah, just knock out some of the more
That is not a bad.
homey
Maybe redo the
features.
floors. 'Cause
Yeah.
these are a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm an ideas
I'm gonna
man.
Think, you know what? I'm gonna think on that one.
Here I go once again with the email. Every week, I hope that it's from a female. Oh man, it's not from a female.
All right, Andrew, do we have any emails or V-mails that you want to favor us with today?
Yes, I did receive one.
Okay.
And this is from listener Michael. And I want to mention something. I wasn't going to mention this, but I will mention it now. Okay. I don't think this is not the person who I'm speaking about here before I play this voicemail, but I think I heard a listener's feelings via text message this weekend. And I didn't mean to, and I was trying to be lighthearted about it, and then I think I came off as maybe a little bit snotty or something. But somebody had texted me several things in a row that said, tell Luke this, tell Luke that, tell Luke this. And one of them was kind of also about like, hey, be careful about certain language that you use around Italian topics or whatever. And I was like, and so I wrote back, I'm like, hey, the best way to get this information to Luke is to email Luke at tbtl.net. And I did write something like, I'm not his message sender or offer or something like that, which I think I meant to be goofy, but maybe came off as a little bit more snotty, and the person clearly was not happy with that response. And so just so you know, for folks who like, I'm not trying to be like a jerk about it, but just generally speaking, if you have something that you need to tell Luke, the text
Luke
message
at
line,
tbtl.net.
the email is good for that. Text is if you just want to send something fun on the fly or something like that. But I'm seeing text messages at our phone number 206-414-8285 just as I'm out and about. You know what I mean? I was literally walking to see the Odyssey when I was getting a text message about that, when I said, hey, just reach out to Luke directly about that. So my apologies if my tone was off in that text, but I do want to let listeners know, as far as like, especially if it's something where you kind of want to gently correct Luke or something like that, do that directly with Luke via Luke at TBTL.net.
Was it the person who wanted to correct my pronunciation of the name Zendaya?
No, but I saw that too. Oh, that came on. And listen, that's somebody who's listening right now. That was unhinged. Can I just say that about our listeners' behavior? We got like 4 emails in a row that it seemed like something was malfunctioning, and it just kept saying the subject line was Zendaya, not Zendaya, or vice versa. And I was like, oh, somebody's email is malfunctioning. And then we got a follow-up email that said, yes, you got that 4 times because I feel strongly about it, or something like that. Did you notice all of that?
I'm seeing this now. I'm getting into this. Yes, it's. I'll leave the listener's name out so they don't come in for any kind of grief. But it's her name is not Zendaya, it's Zendaya. And there's about 3 emails there. And then there's another one I see that says, I meant to send this info multiple times, so it rises above the noise in your inbox. Thanks. Okay, Zendaya. Duly noted, buddy.
Yes.
I'll try to remember to say Zendaya. And also, I'll come over to your house and listen to 8 hours of you talking every week and figure out the times when you're not saying something perfectly.
I think the important thing is that we really appreciate all the donations that you guys have sent into the show, especially coming off of the TBTL-thon. No, so apologies for the listener if I sounded snotty, but also in reality, that is the best way to get a hold of us. You can email me, Andrew at TBTL.net, Luke at TBTL.net, John at TBTL.net.
Even Johns can get
even
TBTL
Johns
emails.
can get it. And then
Actually,
we do have
honestly,
a text line and a phone
I'm
line.
not encouraging anyone to send emails to John to get to me, but I will say John is probably the best email responder in the group.
Yes, but don't send stuff to other members of the team hoping that the other members of the team will then take your message to them.
Stop sending me stuff hoping I'll send it to Andrew.
Exactly, because that happens a lot. So here is a voicemail. This is, I'm not even going to, you know what? I'm not even going to set this one up. I just love it.
Hi, guys. It's Michael in Olympia. I know there's been quite a bit of talk about being the first person to use a public restroom. Well, I just went to the transfer station to get rid of a bunch of garbage, and I had a wonderful experience. I was the first person to throw all of my garbage into a completely empty, giant container. And I tell you, the experience of hearing all of those things just hit the bottom of that container and make a resounding noise, very satisfying. Love the show. Good luck with the thon.
Is that what we, thank you. Is that what we call squad goals? Because that sounds very satisfying to me.
See, I can't quite relate to that because the place that I go, we throw it all on a conveyor belt and it just kind of goes down. And so I really like it when the conveyor belt has which is a version of what this listener is talking about. I really like it when the conveyor belt has well, actually, it's kind of fun when the conveyor belt starts going when I'm throwing stuff on it because then it just feels like I'm in like a video game or something. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've gone to a dump where it's going into one of those big shipping containers that's about to get hauled off. What's at the dump that you're technically not supposed to go to that you go to? What is their system?
It's like a huge pit, and so you pull your truck up to it or car up to it, and you just throw stuff over the rail, and then they have these big earth movers and stuff that kind of push it into piles, and then they take it off, and then there's a different section for yard waste where I was just throwing these bags of yard waste as hard as I could because they were kind of light at this point over the weekend. Actually, on Thursday, before I cleaned the inside of the car, I hauled a whole bunch of yard waste. Now I'm looking, is this Zendaya that I'm looking at here on the screen?
It's Zendaya.
I honestly can't remember what's right and what's wrong anymore.
You said it right.
Okay, Zendaya.
You said it right.
Okay, yeah, and she plays Athena, I believe, in the Odyssey.
Yes, and is a talented actor and is great.
You wanted to put that up there just because we have the ability to?
Yeah, I'm just testing out. This is TBTL TV, my friend.
Well,
this is,
while we do that, can I
experience? I'm putting up all kinds of images.
Look at that. Can we play it's only 15 seconds, this video that I was using to test. Now, this is a true story. I just came across this commercial on some VHS tape that I was digitizing, and last night I uploaded this to YouTube. I even uploaded this video to TikTok. I don't know if you know that, Luke, but I'm on TikTok, and sometimes I
didn't know you were on TikTok.
I am, and I don't know what my name is there, but I do know that my avatar is a picture of Toomgus saying "God damn it," and I don't know when.
Definitely
or
would
how.
Tip me off that it's probably you.
Yeah, exactly. But
that.
this is it's only 15 seconds. This is a commercial from 1993. It aired on A&E during a broadcast of Rebel Without a Cause in the Chino Hills area of California. I love when I find a VHS tape trying to nail down exactly when these things aired. And this aired in March of 1993. I could tell from some of the promos for A&E premieres happening. And now I think we might have to stop the TV image that you had up there. I'm going to play this 15-second video from the Dairy Farmers of America, which I am in love with.
Take American cheese, make it wrapped. You got a new idea for a tasty kid snack. Wrap an apple with American cheese and your kids will cheer. Because any snack with American cheese gets you a big pat on the back. American cheese, the snack kids love to eat.
So, okay, there's a lot to talk about there.
Much to unpack from that.
The rhyme joke at the very end, are we supposed to believe that the kid was going to pat her on the rear? Like,
is that what that? Because the rhyme, the scansion of it is way off.
Well, clearly, like the joke is, you think we're going to say rear, but then we're going to say back. But you're talking about a mom and her little boy, and they're showing like otherwise edible food being wrapped up in these orange slices, which also looks gross to me. But
I love that kind of cheese. I've got a block. I've got not a block of it. I've got a bunch of American cheese singles in my refrigerator right now.
You make it rain.
I will put those on almost anything except an apple. One of the things that they're showing us is an apple slice. American cheese on an apple slice does not sound good to me. Do you notice the first thing that's being wrapped, though, Andrew?
A pretzel rod.
A mini
pretzel rod, yeah. Wrapped up in American cheese. It looks
your favorite food group, which you kind of got me into during the Thon week in Ohio. I found myself really going ham on those rods.
I got to get you more into hummus because I feel like a hummus is a great thing to dip a rod into. What would be your ideal thing to dip a rod into?
Maybe something, I know this is going to sound like I'm just trying to be funny or something, but maybe something a little cheesy, but like a goat cheese dip or a chev or something.
Yeah.
I like that kind of combo. Not probably, American cheese slice rolled up on a pretzel, I wouldn't be mad at that. I would probably eat it. Can you play the commercial one more time?
Yes, I can.
Just so I can hear the audio again, because I don't think I was tracking it other than I noticed that she rhymes the wrong thing, but now you're saying that's part of setting up an expectation.
Oops, sorry about that. I was trying to pause it before you did that. But so take a listen to this again. And again, it's just a short little 15-seconder.
Take American cheese, make it wrapped. You got a new idea for a tasty kid snack. Wrap an apple with American cheese and your kids will cheer. Because any snack with American cheese gets you a big pat on the back. American cheese, the snack kids love to eat.
A million things wrong with it. First of all, the first two rhymes don't even work, and it's not setting anything up.
The first two
things she says. Can we play one more time and pause it? I mean, I actually could. I guess I could pause it too if I feel so strongly about it. The first two things that she rhymes.
Yeah, okay.
American cheese, make it wrapped. You got a new idea for a tasty kid snack.
Okay, I see.
Take American cheese, make it wrapped. You got a tasty idea for a new kid's snack.
Yeah,
wrapped and snack don't even rhyme.
I mean, I'll give them that. It's a slant rhyme, but I'm with you. It's lazy.
And then the scansion goes so off the rails here.
Snack, wrap an apple with American cheese and your kids will cheer. Because any snack with American cheese gets you a big pat.
And your kids will cheer because we're battling here. We're battling. Yeah. Sorry. It's like when she says, your kids will cheer. It's supposed to go, and your kids will cheer. Da 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 da. Something rhymes with cheer, but she goes, and your kids will cheer. Wrap anything in an American cheese. It's like all of a sudden there's 5 extra syllables in that part of it. I mean, it's just, it's obviously really bothering me because I feel like they could have done something with this. And I don't even think it's just that they're setting up a rhyme or a joke that we're not expecting, which I'm sure you're right about in the end. But the beginning part is bad for different reasons.
It's bad all around, Luke. It's bad all around. Well, this could be a new feature. I can show you the commercials that I find on VHS tapes. I've been digging deep again now that I'm kind of...
I love that. I mean, there's nothing that I enjoy more than you and I. And, it's a motivation for people to sign up and do whatever they need to do to get TBTL TV, Andrew, because this is actually going to be really fun. I'm excited about this new feature that we have to grab visuals and play them for each other and show them to each other. So
so it's a little bit of a work in progress. We didn't really, you set it up at the beginning of the show, but you and I didn't really chat much about it. And so folks who were donating during the TBTL-thon, if you donated at literally any level, you will get an email with a link to a video version of one of the episodes of the week. And we're trying this on Monday's show. I think assuming that the tape worked out okay, and Luke's playing with his little novelty glasses over there now, we'll try to send this one out. But it occurred to me, I think this has to go out today, though, right? Like, nobody wants to watch this a few days later, so do I have to figure this out today?
I don't think it has to go out today. I think
you don't think so?
This is as pointless on Friday as it was on Monday.
Okay, we'll figure it out. I think eventually I'd like to get to the point where you can choose to listen or watch, because I feel like,
I
here's
see.
the deal.
You think if people have already listened to this,
if people
they're not
listen
gonna
to
wanna
this on
watch it.
Monday and then I'm
I was
sending them the
assuming
video
there's a-
link on Wednesday, but maybe if listeners don't mind giving us a little bit of grace, this is what we're calling sort of, we're not calling, nobody knows this yet, but I'm calling this a soft launch. Like, we got to just kind of figure this out. I don't want to be too precious about it and wait until we have everything locked down and feeling super professional, because let's face it, that may never happen. And so I do want to sort of like just see how much work goes into getting these things produced, how quickly we can turn them around, and maybe add more doodads as time goes on. But I'm going to see gigas, maybe get some gigas in there. So I'll see if I can get this out later today, maybe with John's help, or certainly maybe by tomorrow at the latest. We'll see, and then we'll iron it out as things move forward. But yeah, if you're seeing this, it means you donated. So thank you so much.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it. Yeah.
And if you're hearing this, it means you're part of the TBTL listening audience, and we thank you as well. Thanks so much for spending this hour and 19 minutes with us today. We're going to be back here tomorrow with more Imaginary Radio for all of you. In the meantime, have an absolutely great Monday. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.